zoning meeting to order. All rise for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is Summit Bridge Road conditional use permit request for an RV boat storage facility in a C3 zoned area, CU 08-26. Parcel number 23-028.00 23-028.00-244 and 23-028.00-24.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis Hume with Wood & Associates, civil engineer for this property project. Here tonight on behalf of my client, the McKee Group. This is a preliminary plan for 0 Summer Bridge Road. The McKee Group, they've been building homes and doing business in Middletown for many, many years. And several years ago, you may be aware, they built a high-quality indoor climate storage facility in the Westtown Business Park, and that facility has a limited number of RV and boat storage in the rear. And their goal here is to supplement that facility and address the demand for high-quality covered RV and boat storage. So this site, all the storage spaces will be covered with a metal canopy that's about 14 feet tall, which is similar to the size of a typical commercial building. It'll be open on all 4 sides. And the parking spaces total, the site will be secured by a security fence, and access will be controlled by security gates in and out. And if you have any other specific questions about the plan, we can talk about it.
Do I have any questions?
Is there any plans for them widening the road or anything there for access, acceleration lanes?
Yeah, that'll be the next stage of the process when we submit the preliminary entrance plans to DelDOT. Just to give you an example, we're working on a plan up the street that you probably saw about a year or so ago that added a turn lane, widened the road for that entrance, so I expect it'll be similar to that.
But you definitely need something there.
Of course, yes. I understand it's a heavily traveled road with many cars and trucks and whatnot, but that'll all be determined in the next phase.
I mean, this is a storage unit, so it's a typical storage unit, so it's not going to be like in and out traffic all day long, right?
No, how they want this to operate is kind of an unmanned unit where people will visit the other location that I just talked about, do the business transactions, and then they'll be able to access it on their own. So, like you can imagine, we're going to have an area that's not inside the fence that people can pull right in, stop off the road, access the secure area and whatnot. So we feel that getting in and out of the site will be okay.
With Spring Mill behind you and the traffic flow in the front, what kind of fencing are we going to put around this complex?
I expect it to be a typical chain link fence that's at least 7 foot high. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a solid fence or not. The developers, McKee Group, they've met with, I think, Spring Mill residents twice. Recently, they talked about landscaping along the property line there. There's currently a berm with some pretty large evergreen trees, and they talked about filling in the gaps in the areas where the trees are either missing or dead. And also planting additional trees. So there's been a lot of conversation about that.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just a couple. So the sites are all planned to be 12 foot wide according to the plan, is that correct?
The parking spaces?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Is the facility going to be sprinklered?
No, I do not believe so.
How about fire hydrant improvements? I know there's one hydrant on the end of the property.
Yeah, this site was used, right now it's being used as a display area for storage, and there at one time was a small office trailer there that there was a water line extended and a fire hydrant installed years ago. But all that will be updated and changed when, with this plan, there's going to be sewer and water extended through the site.
Because the length of the property and the amount of fuel stored underneath this shed, we're certainly going to need more than one hydrant.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the water comes from the back where the pump station is at Spring Mill and the sewer, and all that is going to be extended all the way to Summer Bridge Road and then up northbound on the road.
It's just going to, I can, the length of it's going to require more than one, I know it will. I know we're not to that point
Right,
yet.
yeah. The spacing will be met and all.
And then, of course, when we get to that point, electronic access for the fire department will be needed as
Right,
well.
right. Yeah, the same as like they do over at the, like I said, the existing storage building. It's all gated, it's controlled, and emergency access, the Knox box and everything.
Any other questions? Not, may I have a motion?
A motion for 0 Summit Bridge Road conditional use permit request for an RV boat storage facility in a C-3 zoned area, CU-08-26 tax parcel numbers 23-028.00-243, 23-028.00-244, and 23-028.00-245.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
See you next time. Next is 0 Summit Bridge Road, preliminary minor land development and re-subdivision plan for an RV boat storage facility on a 5.44 plus or minus acres on the C3 zoned area. The property proposes combining the parcels into one for the purpose of developing the site for covered RV boat storage. Got the wrong paper here. Tax parcel number 23-028.00 243. 23-028.00-244 and 23-028.00-245.
And just for the record, Dennis Hume, Wood and Associates, this is for the specific plan and subdivision of the property. So if you have any additional questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I got one question. Where did 0 Summit Bridge Road come from?
That just means it technically does not have an address. That's just the way Newcastle County is. By way of us submitting a plan, Newcastle County GIS will assign it a real address. It'll be on the record plan.
Just curious, I saw a picture of the solar panels. Is there solar panels?
No, I don't know. Do you have the pictures?
Oh, just,
Those were some brochure pictures from the company that builds these type of structures. And those are obviously from, West Coast kind of sites, so
was hoping
it
you'd
make
put a
more,
mountain
it
chain
make
in
more
there for us.
sense. Yeah, I do not expect solar panels, but I'm sure it could always be added if it ever came, to be efficient and worth it.
You're eliminating the dump station?
Yes, we, at one time, we had a dump station and a wash station on the plan, but again, meeting with the tenant or the residents of Spring Mill, they suggested not to do that. Some of the reasons were that some of the residents actually use RVs, and they say that they do their dump and washing at the locations they're coming from and don't do it where they're parked.
Any other questions? You have a motion?
I can make a motion. 0 Summer Bridge Road preliminary minor land development and re-subdivision plan for RV boat storage on 5.44 plus or minus acres in a C3 zoned area. The project proposes combining tax parcels into one for the purpose of developing a site for RV boat storage. Tax parcel numbers 23-028.00-243, 23-028.00-244, and 23-028.00-245.
And second?
I'll second.
Yeah.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is 28 Anderson Street minor subdivision plan for the subdivision of the parcel into 3 lots for construction of a single-family semi-detached dwelling on lots 1 and 2. Lot 3 will be reserved for future development. Located on .21 plus or minus acres in a C2 zoned area. Tax parcel 23-006.00-241.
Good evening, my name is Dennis Hume with Wood & Associates. I'm the civil engineer for this property. So this site is located just a block north of Main Street and a block east of Broad Street. It's currently a vacant property. It originally had I would call it old commercial, maybe industrial building on it for many years. That was underused. The current owners, they own the property across the street, actually 3 properties across the street. There's a current duplex under construction, 2123 Anderson, and also the commercial building on the next to it, 29 Anderson. So they are really heavily involved in this area, trying to make improvements. And like I said, they're currently constructing the same or very similar duplex that we're proposing on this property. This property, the plan is to, the full plan is to build 2 duplexes, so 4 units total. The reason we showed just 1 building right now is because the very far property towards the east, that was 20 Cox Street, was purchased by the owner also by way of the tax sale. It had been a vacant property for many, many years. There was a lot of cars parked on there, a lot of trash. It was actually, taxes were not being paid. It was eventually went to sheriff's sale. But the issue there is the zoning is different than this property. This property here is zone C3, I believe, or C2, I believe. And that property is zoned R1. So that has to go through the rezoning process. So our plan here is to do 1 building at a time, and that's why it's set up to subdivide this property into 3 lots. And then the lot that is not going to be developed right now will eventually be part of the 20 Cox Street property and build a second building. So again, that's the full plan, and there'll be other improvements made on the road, such as new curbing. There's currently no curbing out on that road. It's a very poor condition road. Paving will be improved. Sewer and water will be installed. There is plan for electric to be installed. We've been working with Kevin Lane at the electric department to feed electric down that site to the new buildings. So that's in the works. And there'll be obviously sidewalk installed on both Anderson Street and Cox Street for the development. And if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
So 20 is owned by the same owner, is that correct?
20 Cox Street?
Yeah. 20 Cox Street?
Yeah, it's
Or
actually.
Anderson?
Are you talking about the one on the corner that abuts Cox Street?
Oh, I'm seeing where you're going. Okay, yeah, right there at Anderson and Cox.
Yeah.
So from Anderson, Cox, from there and then going left, how many lots does the owner own? Like going, I'm looking on the map, on Google Maps right now, but like if you're on Cox.
If you look at it on Google Maps, it goes from Cox Street
Towards Broad,
to the west towards Broad, and it's just 2 properties right now.
right now.
Right now, yes.
Are they trying to purchase more? I mean, you don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
I do not believe so. No.
What's the ultimate outcome of this? I mean, is it because it's zoned in a C2, is that correct? So that would be
Yes.
a commercial lot, is that right?
Yeah, it's a commercial lot, but we've looked at every which way or other to do a different use or a more high-intensity use, I would say. And my opinion is this is the best use for the area. It is a residential area. Residential is allowed in commercial zoning under the R3 standards. So zoning-wise, it fits. There will be variances required because of the odd shape of the lot. That will be the next stage that we go through with the Board of Adjustments. Basically, the lot depth does not meet the minimum, and because we're dividing it up into four, the total lot area will have to need a variance. So things like that will need to be done. But again, my opinion is for this type of lot, it's odd-shaped, it's in a residential area, that we feel the best use of it is what we're doing.
And that's by splitting it up and putting different buildings or housing units in there, is that correct?
Yep.
As of right now, there'll be 2 buildings in there on 2 different properties, right? On those two lots, is what you're trying to.
Yeah, right now, it'll be 2 lots that have single-family dwellings on each lot that'll be attached with a common wall in the middle.
And then as you were saying, like the lots may not be big enough, how does that amend? And then you're just gotta get that amended so that you can build there, is that correct? I'm just trying to learn the law.
Yeah, you mean with the Board of Adjustment process?
That's correct.
Yeah, basically, we look at the property along with the town engineers and planners and say, what doesn't meet the zoning criteria for this lot with this building on it? As far as the front setbacks, side yards, rear yards, it's basically the rear yard and the overall lot width, I believe.
Yeah.
Because most codes are meant to, like, if you're subdividing larger areas, you don't make something smaller than what's allowed. But when you're working with a property that's been that way for, forever, you have to kind of make the best of what you have.
And that's, I understand that. My question too is, have you spoken to the property owner behind that lot? Because it would be, what I'm trying to, what you were saying is the Board of Adjustments, and looking at the size of a lot and how the house is gonna fit there, they would have to amend that, which means they would have to approve that, saying, yes, you can go ahead and build here a regular sized house on a smaller sized lot that's not supposed to be fit for that. My question is that now with that property owner that's on that back side of that, has there been any kind of discussion stating that, instead of just saying, well, we're just gonna do it willy-nilly, not saying that you are, you know what I mean? Because you are going through the proper channels of the Board of Adjustments, however, taking that in consideration, because there is, that leadway there. I don't know, I'm just asking.
I don't think there's been any discussions with the property owners that abut in the rear. Obviously, we're open to conversation of any concerns. There'd probably be at any kind of meeting at the Board of Adjustments, and we can address the concerns then. But again, my opinion, this use and the site works. It's not, I don't think it's, doesn't fit on the lot. I've done the grading. Everything seems to work. The lots behind it are very deep. There's a large chain link fence back there. I don't think it would have any impact on their property.
Dennis, is that, there's the dotted line and X's, is that the current fence?
Yeah, yes.
Which one?
So if you look at to kind of explain this to you in blunt terms, I can explain. So, if you look at lot 1 and lot 2, look at, straight ahead, that back, the dark, thick black line where it says lands of Blaisdell Family Investments up there.
Yep.
So that's the property you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then, so for Board of Adjustments, they're gonna have to look at, there's gotta be a 20-foot, they're supposed to be 20 feet behind the whole building.
Yeah.
So you see all the arrows drawing, it shows there's 21.8 there,
Yeah.
there's 20 there, there's 18.4, and then there's 15. So they're gonna have to ask for permission to be forgiven for that, whatever 1.6 feet, for that, and then 5 feet for the 15.
Right.
So they're gonna basically say, look, see how the lot is not square, so it goes sideways.
Yeah.
So they've gotta, it's called a they're asking for a hardship waiver.
And that's also why I was bringing up the question of that, is because, there are people here in the audience that are questioning that, because it doesn't fit on that lot, with the, the current standards of that. However, I do live right there. And I mean, this may be sitting there saying something, but it is, you know, it would be nice to see a nice sidewalk back there. It would be nice to have that road paved back there. You know, it would be nice to have those type of things. And especially on Cox Street too. I think it would be nice to clean that whole area up. You know, so how do we do it? That's why I said discussions. You know what I mean? So you know how I am about discussions. You know what I mean? As long as the builders are discussing with the people around them, then we're all happy, you know, being a happy community, you know? So that's the only reason why, you know, if possibly that could happen, you know what I mean, where we can talk about that. And then, you know, just like you said, you did paint a very pretty picture in my eyes. You know what I mean? And I do agree. I think you would, your work does stand for yourself. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is I think it would definitely clean up the area back there. But I think there needs to be discussion. You know what I mean? And just out of,
That would all happen at the Board of Adjustment here.
that's what I'm saying.
Board of
Yeah.
Adjustment has to do all that,
Hasn't been
not
set
here.
yet.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
here.
That's
Yeah,
right.
the neighbors around a request for a variance get notified. So they specifically get notified so they can come and, yeah, have that discussion too.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so that helps, so they don't just miss a meeting.
That's great.
They know exactly that there is a.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, for example, the property across the street, the 2123, that's, like I said, is a very similar project. It required a side yard variance from the 10-foot.
Yeah.
And the neighbor next door was, you know, she was for the project, but she also thought, you know, it would be nice to have a fence there to guarantee separation, because you're less, you know, you're making it less. And the developer was fine with that, and that was a compromise. So things like that can happen.
I remember that. You were talking about the one right across on that intersection, right? Yeah. Mhm. Thank you. I appreciate all that.
Any other questions? Any questions in the audience? Yes, sir.
Billy, can you get up to the microphone, please?
Get the microphone and speak.
Microphone, Billy?
Just tell them who you are.
Now, what you're telling me, with the zoning the way it is, he's got to be 20 foot from my property line? He's got to be building away from my property line by 20 foot,
The way it's written right now, or the way it is.
the way it is now?
Right.
Okay, now, I was here at the hearing when they did the one across the street. Nice houses, well-built, but I don't want somebody, my son owns a house next door, he's at work. The double houses, the two houses, how far are they gonna be to my son at 26 Anderson? Right now?
Oh, Carrie, on that, I can't, I think it's, you know, shows, it's got the 10-foot side yard.
It's 22 feet from the front
yeah.
corner to the property
Approximately
line.
22 feet from your brother's house, yes.
21.8.
Sons.
22 feet, or from your son's house?
How far you gotta be from my son's house?
The setback is 10, but it's going to be 22. And just to keep everything, from your property, it does meet the 20-foot setback from your property. It's the property to your east that it does not.
I don't want anybody 20 foot beyond my property line. I don't care who it is.
These buildings will not be within 20 feet of your property line.
Now, I watched them build the two across the street. They've done a good job, I admit it. But my concern is, I don't want them sitting in my backyard, because they're all going to be rentals. They're not going to be owners. I've already been told that from the builder. And I've been told that lot, I've been there since I was 16, and I'm 84. I've never had a problem. I keep the grass cut, the trash picked up for nothing. And I've always been able to run back and forth across that property to get out of my backyard. But this guy is gonna block me off, I know it. I keep 2 cars in there in the winter. My car's been hit 4 times on the street. Nobody knows nothing about it, but it gets hit. So I put my car and my wife's truck in the yard. And he builds them houses, I'm not gonna be able to get out of my backyard. And I've cut that property since I was 16. and got nothing out of it. But now all of a sudden he wants to play hardball. So I'm going to play hardball with him. And I'll bring my corporate attorney up here when everything comes about. Let him argue with him. But I don't think he should be able to build alongside of my boys, that's close to my boy's house, like he did across the street with Pam. My boy works shift work, and he's got to sleep. And I've been told that until he decides with a white elephant across the street that he can't build on that lot in back of me, that it will have to be used for a parking lot, depending on what he wants to do with that big one first. And as far as I know, that building, that lot has never been subdivided. It's always been one big lot.
Chairman, if you don't mind me intervening. So just, you and I have had conversation before. So just to let you know, just give you a heads up, that's what they're talking about, is that he's just, I'm hearing, you know that. The thing is that he's saying that he's doing everything properly. Something I do want to clear up, though, is that is not your lot. And so what I mean by that, I don't mean that in the harshest way, I mean that in the most kindest way. So when it's not your property and it's not your lot, then unfortunately, when somebody wants to do something else with that lot, if they want to put our parking lot in there and they want to fence that back lot off, you won't be able to drive your cars out anyways. If they want to put a nice park in there and a nice garden for my son to play, you won't be able to drive your cars out anyways. It's their property. And so I just want to clear that up. I'm sorry, Chairman, but, so, you know what I mean? So with that being said, why don't, we try to figure out a way to get your cars out another way? And then on top of that, let's think about how we can clean Middletown up on the properties that we have that are run down. And that's what he's trying to do for us. That's what the owners are trying to do for us, is trying to clean up the properties that are run down. So I do see it as this is going to be beneficial in a sense, but let's try to figure this out. Unfortunately, the town's growing, and it's growing a lot more in the last 50 years or so that you've been around. 40, thank you. Sorry, math's a little off. So that's, we just got to work together, you know what I mean? And that's where we just got to
Yeah, I agree. I like the houses. I
Okay.
think it's a big improvement on the street, but I'd rather see a parking lot there than I would anything, and I'll still be able to get in and out.
I would rather see a parking lot in a lot of these areas.
There's no way you
but
can pull out on
There's no way to pull out in
you don't
front
have
of
a
your house.
driveway in the front of your house?
I have a main street in front of my house. That's where my car's been hit 4 times and nobody hears anything.
You don't have a driveway to your house?
No, I can't get between my fence, my property line, and my 550-gallon oil tank along my house I just had put in. Worst comes to worst, I can drive halfway up my yard and I can buy a right-of-way from my neighbor to jump over on his parking lot to come out on the main street. Worst scenario, that's what I'll do. But I just don't want anybody coming building 20 foot in back between my house and that lot.
It's not gonna be.
Right.
You don't know who you're gonna get when you have rental properties, and I don't want a bunch of riprap in there,
You don't know who you're gonna get when you.
living
buy
in
it.
back of my backyard.
True that.
We thank you for your comment.
Absolutely.
So I just wanna make sure the town and the zoning board doesn't give him the right to build closer to 20 foot to me. And I don't want him to build within 4 foot of my son's house.
And also make sure your voice is heard at, what's it called? I'm sorry.
Board of Adjustment.
Thank you, Board of Adjustments. I've never been to one. When is this? I want to go to one. Thank you. But, yeah, make sure your voice is heard there.
So he's gotta go in front of the Board of Adjustments
Yes.
before anything done here.
No, well, no.
We don't do that. There's
Right.
another committee does the board. of
Another
adjustments.
committee does the Board of Adjustments.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Anybody else?
He's in place for some time, but he's gonna shut it down completely
Any other questions?
We'll get it. You won't be.
You gotta go with this.
We have a motion?
28 Anderson Street, minor subdivision plan for a subdivision of a parcel into 3 lots for construction of a single-family, semi-detached dwelling on lots 1 and 2. Lot 3 will be reserved for future development. Located at 0.21 plus or minus acres in a C2 zoned area. Tax parcel number 23-006.00-241.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Piece of candy or drink, losing your voice.
Next is Lot 24, Levels Business Park, minor land development plan for construction of a 1,130 square foot building addition located on 1.05 plus or minus acres in an M1 zoned area. Tax parcel number 23-041.00-026.
My name is
Man, tonight.
Dennis. Just stack them up.
You don't have to work next month.
You need a chair
I'm
now? You need a chair
taking off
now for
next
all-
month.
Earning your paycheck tonight.
Again, my name is Dennis Hume with Wood and Associates, civil engineer for this project. So this site is existing commercial building in Levels Business Park, Lot 24. And the plan here is to add a one-story addition to the front of the building. The current tenant of the building is a gym, workout gym, and business is doing well, and they need more space. So the owner of the property is willing to build the additional space for them to occupy, and it'll come off the front of the existing building. It's meets within all the setbacks still, and the overall square footage of the site is still in compliance with parking and whatnot, and landscaping. And if you have any other questions, happy to answer them.
Any questions?
I understand. Is there enough parking there now?
Yeah, it's basically a shared parking lot between this property and the brewery, the brewery next door. So overall, the parking is good.
Okay.
Any other questions? Questions in the audience? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Make a motion.
You second it? Okay. Have a motion?
I'll do it again.
I was getting ready to, but go ahead.
Lot 24, Levels Business Park, minor land development plan for construction of a 1,130 square foot building addition located 1.05 plus or minus acres in an M1 zoned area. Tax parcel number 23-041.00-026.
I'll second that.
I already seconded it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
You want to stay for this other one?
I'll take it out. Everybody can go home.
Are you working for him or? He's gone. Next is 217 Middletown Warwick Road, minor land development plan for a 510 square foot building, 7 brew coffee in a C3 zoned area. tax parcel number 23 003 .00 -128.
Good evening. My name is Doug Beachel. I'm Director of Entitlement for Seven Brew Coffee. I'm sorry I didn't know Dennis prior to this evening. 'Cause I would have, but I also would like to see the minutes of this meeting. I think they're going to be very fun to do. I'm on my planning board. I live in upstate New York, so appreciate everybody's service. So I understand how it is. Seven Brew Coffee it's a drive-through only coffee stand, is what we call them. They're 510 square feet. There's no customers inside. It's just employees serving various beverages to people at their cars. It's sort of a combination of a Chick-fil-A ordering system. You know, we say if Starbucks and Chick-fil-A had a baby, it would be a Seven Brew. So it's, you know, it's a 510 square foot building. It's modular. It comes in 2 tractor trailers. I have some photos in the package that show basically what it looks like. It's all niche-ha clad. It's good. It's nice building materials. There's a canopy that covers the front. There's a remote cooler next to it that has dry storage and you know, and a cooler for product. And customers drive through in 2 queues. An employee will meet them at their car window, wherever they are in that line, and they'll do an order on a mobile device that the employee has, or we're coming out with an app where you'll be able to pre-order and show up. So once you get to the front of that line in those 2 drive-through lanes, an employee will come out the side of the building, they're sliding glass doors, and deliver the beverage to you. Primarily, it's coffees, teas, energy drinks, smoothies, milkshakes. We don't cook. We have no food other than a prepackaged muffin top. Like I said, 99% of our business is through the drive-through. We do give a 50% off discount to first responders, so we will get police, fire, EMT that will park somewhere close to us and can approach one of our employees, and we'll just, you know, hand that beverage over to them somewhere in the parking lot. But primarily, it's all drive-through. Typically, there's 50, 60 employees per location. We're open Sunday through Thursday from 5:30 in the morning till 10:30 at night, and then Friday and Saturday from 5:30 a.m. until 11 or 11:30.
How many employees?
Typically per location, there's 50 or 60 in total. There's 5 or 6 per shift. Obviously, we have peak hours. You know, Saturday from 10 to 1 is one of our busiest times. This is primarily targeted to a younger demographic. That's the majority of our customers. Not necessarily target, but that's our customers. You know, we don't really advertise. It's social media driven. We have any number of variations of combinations for beverages. So something can get popular in a certain market, and all of a sudden that's the drink, and it'll be named after some local high school kid or somebody that works there. So they'll say, you know, I'll take the
Mayor Branner.
there's something, right? Yeah. So, and it's, you know, it's over my head. You know, we typically, you know, we hire from the community, and it's usually younger, you know, high school, college kids that work there, and it's higher energy. There's some music playing underneath the canopy, you know, and we, you know, take people's orders and try to make their day a little bit better. So, you know, it's typically a 4-minute wait time is sort of the max that you're gonna see. We try to throughput cars through that drive-through pretty quick and keep people moving. So that's the general concept.
Just curious, how many locations do you have?
Right now, we're just under 500, I believe.
Really?
I actually represent a franchisee. We have 60. We're trying to open 100 this year. There's me and two other guys. We're all working on 30 or 40 of these. So I've got Delaware. So yeah, I handled New York State, Delaware. We've got 5 or 6 sort of in process in this state, doing one in Elkton, which, you know, just over the border. And we've got other, you know, we're kind of mostly East Coast based. So they're growing. So it's becoming a national brand. It was originally started in 2017 in Rogers, Arkansas. There's a brand coming from the Pacific Northwest called Dutch Brothers or Dutch Bros. Same kind of same deal. Modular building, a little bit bigger than ours, but same concept. It's drive-through only coffee. Ultimately, I mean, it's the new thing. And these buildings being modular and, you know, pretty simple to construct and so small, you know, some people say, you know, remodels or what would you do 10, 20 years down the road? You know, worst case scenario, you unbolt it from the foundation and ship it out of there and turn it into a tiny house.
But no food?
No food.
That lets me out.
Yeah. No, I started with this company in October. Previously, I'd worked with other brands, national brands, all over the country. And I had to bring my 83-year-old mother to 7 Brew the day after Thanksgiving, or the Saturday after Thanksgiving, to try to explain to her what it was. And it was busy. It was a Saturday, so there was 20 cars in line and absolute chaos inside with people throwing drinks all over. And she had no idea. She didn't understand. And I told her I agreed. So, but yeah, like I said, we have a pre-pack. We don't sell a lot of it, but it's just a food option if for some reason somebody needs it for whatever reason.
That's enough. That's good.
So that's the general concept. Site plan wise, and we're in the plaza where Target is, in front of the new Hobby Lobby, next to the Popeyes. We're leasing this parcel, or this portion of this parcel. We have 2 drive lanes, a third is either escape lane or a third drive lane that goes around. We would connect to the property to the, you know, I don't know my direction on this one. I guess it would be the north, the vacant property that would be to the north of us. We'd have cross access there. We have room required, I think, is eight cars in the stack. We've provided 20 spaces, and then parking. 6 required based on our square footage, which is small. We're providing 8, which is typically fine for us. It's almost, you know, 5 or 6 is sort of really what we can get away with. Our buildings are so small. There's a bathroom in there for the employees, and then the work area. It's a glorified shed, really, size-wise. So, you know, our employees typically will take their breaks in their cars. So a lot of times we'll have parking close to the building, an ADA space close to the building, in case we have any employees that need ADA parking. So it's kind of how the parking concept aligns on this one. The dumpster enclosure is, you know, clad in Nichi-Ha, and it matches the building materials. Typically, if it's a new site, if it's new construction and there's not an existing pylon sign, we won't really request a pylon sign. Our buildings are our sign. So I know driving through that stretch, Popeyes has one, then there's one for Target, and it's sort of hit or miss. I'm not sure what the sign code is in Middletown, but we generally don't request a pylon sign unless there's already a pole there, then we'll use it. But it's one of the few restaurant brands I've been with where we're not fighting for signage all the time, which is sort of encouraging.
Is the one operational in Elkton yet?
Where?
The one in Elkton?
No, that's just behind this one in terms of, I'll be presenting to them.
Oh, it's behind it. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't go check it out.
No, honestly know what my closest one is, in this market. Well, we've got several in Pennsylvania. But I could, well, you could Google it, but I can give you an address. Pennsylvania, we've been in Pennsylvania for about a year and a half. So, yeah, right now, this is the first appearance I've made in Delaware. I met with Newcastle County, the planning staff up there earlier today, just to try to move. I've got 4 of them submitted up there. Newark.
Depends on where you're from, how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's the problem. I've worked all over, so you never know. 2 in Wilmington, 1 in Stanton. We've got 1 in east of Wilmington. I can't think of the town. And then 1 in Dover, in front of the Lidl. And I think that's it right now. But
Abingdon and Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey.
Egg Harbor Township.
Yep. Abingdon, Maryland.
Abingdon, Maryland does.
Harbor Township, New Jersey.
so that's sort of the nuts and bolts of the concept. It's, typically we try to stay in plazas with shared access. We do generate traffic, at peak hours, and we manage it, but it's just so darn hard to get a curb cut anywhere these days. So from certain Department of Transportations in certain states that we're such a small user that we can also fit on, small pieces of existing parking lots that landlords can essentially get extra revenue from. So it's kind of a good fit and a good use.
Sorry, I'm just curious. The picture that's up there now shows something to the right of the main building?
We have, yes, that's the cooler storage unit.
Okay.
This particular site is probably a mirrored image. I think the cooler would be on the other side. It depends on how you access it. So I don't have great photos but it's essentially the same building. It's just sometimes the cooler's on the left, sometimes it's on the right, depending on if the traffic enters from the front or the rear.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a justification question. I see it on the planning, but the whole lot's completely closed off, right? So once you go in, you have to circle around and come back out, right? If you can't cross over to the other lots, like to the lot to the left or a lot to the right.
You can to the lot, if you're looking at the plan,
To the left, right?
to the left, yeah, we do have cross access over to that.
Now, are people allowed to come over to your side? I'm just thinking about traffic purposes, because that, with your lanes that are circling around that way, and with the way that the access is on that left-hand side, that would make it kind of wonky.
I think they could. It's really to be determined based on whatever that next user's going to be, what's going to be next to us. Popeyes is obviously there, but whoever is on the other side, it depends on their needs. But you could come through there.
But do you see what I mean? Like how your drive-through lanes go up and around to where that actual straight, like for the people to go straight across? I can understand the outside lane, people would be able to leave the outside lane and go into that next lot. But to actually come from that next lot over,
They'd have to come, take a right,
and then circle
then
around
take
the
a left
building
and
that
circle
way.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be very apparent to them. One of our, I don't know if it's in this plan set, but I've got a striping plan.
It is.
Okay, yeah, that kind of really,
But that's why I was just justifying it.
yeah, that further defines it. And
It
blue,
was just more justification purposes.
yeah, blue's our color too, so that's why our striping is blue. Although some municipalities do have a concern that it could be confused with ADA parking, but it's sort of,
I can see why, but,
it depends on where you are.
and yeah, exactly to the plan. You have it that it's coming out, but like I said, it was just on the record purposes. Because I
Okay.
think that if people could go straight across, it would be a headache.
Yeah.
It would be a-
Well, I've been in this a while, and people have run in, prior to this, I was working with a Burger King franchise. We had 1,000 Burger Kings. Somebody hit our building somewhere in our system at least once a week. like drove into it. Like, we had a guy that was his whole job was to go fix buildings that people drove their cars into. So, you know, you can't put enough bollards up sometimes.
Welcome to Delaware. It's pretty common in Delaware.
It's common everywhere.
Do you have any in Brooklyn, New York?
No, we don't generally have any in large urban.
I was just gonna say, my daughter would keep you in business.
Yeah, that's, you know, typically before we bring these through to a planning commission or a planning board, we'll have a pre-development call with the planning staff at at each municipality, and they all basically they have no idea what we're talking about, and then they go home and talk to their kids, and then they go, okay, how fast can you get that open? So, yeah, it's one of those things, so.
Any other questions? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
I'll do this one because I love coffee. 217 Middletown Warwick Road minor land development plan for a 510 square foot building, 7 Brew Coffee, and a C3 zoned area tax parcel number 23-003.00-128.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you, appreciate it. Look forward to getting this one going.
See you, Mayor and Council.
Sounds good.
Next is 101 Sand Hill Drive, preliminary major land development plan for a 7,320 plus or minus square foot discount tire store in a C3 zoned area. Tax parcel number 23-005.00-315.
Replacing my favorite restaurant.
Good evening. My name is Dan Tomczyk. I'm an assistant project manager with Bowl Engineering, working on the project here. Here presenting tonight to you at Middletown Discount Tire. The existing site here is located at 101 Sand Hill Drive at the intersection of Middletown Warwick Road and Sand Hill Drive in the Bunker Hill subdivision. This site is currently within the C3 zone, and rezoning is not proposed as part of this project. Today, there's existing Arby's drive-through restaurant that we believe has been closed since around 2024. The existing access to the site is from Sand Hill Drive, which is a town-owned and maintained road. The proposed improvements include demolishing the existing drive-through Arby's restaurant and developing a 7,320 square foot discount tire service center with associated parking, access aisles, utilities, and stormwater. The site access will be maintained at the existing entrance off Sand Hill Drive, and there are no Del Dot road improvements anticipated at this time. As I mentioned, the site is within the C3 zone, and this is considered a permitted and by right use with no variances anticipated at this time. Adequate parking and ADA accessibility has been provided on site per the town's zoning code requirements. The site entrance has been designed to accommodate a tractor trailer entering, maneuvering, and exiting the site with no issues. A stormwater management facility is proposed at the southeast corner of the site to manage the additional runoff generated from the site, as well as adhering to the town's stormwater management requirements. Preliminary utility connections have been shown as part of this preliminary plan, primarily along the Sand Hill Drive. Those utilities will be finalized as part of the final engineering design. The light pole locations and landscaping as shown on the plan is per the town zoning code requirements, and they will also be finalized as part of the final engineering. This building is under 10,000 square feet, thus fire lanes are not required. However, the site does adhere to the accessibility standards and maneuverability of a fire truck around the site. I want to thank everyone for their time, for having me, and I'm happy to open the floor for any questions.
Any questions?
Can you slide it over to the plan of the, this is actually the Arby's building on the lot, it's still,
Other drawings too.
there we go. Thank you.
What kind of services will you offer besides tires?
To my knowledge, it's mostly tire services.
Mostly?
Mostly.
Not like oil changes and stuff like that, or just?
Not to my knowledge, no, I believe
Really,
they're
just
strictly
tires?
on tires, yes, correct.
So that leads into my next question is, one of the issues I always see is tires are always left outside. Is there gonna be any kind of product left outside that is gonna be visible for the public?
No, there will not be any. So from what we've been told from the client and from Discount Tire, they don't have any storage areas outside the building. Everything will be held inside.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Have a motion?
I'll make a motion for 101 Sand Hills Drive, preliminary major land development plan for 7,320 plus or minus square foot discount tire store in a C3 zone area, tax parcel number 23-005.00-315.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Motion for adjournment.
I'm gonna make a motion for adjournment.
I'll second that.
Okay, Joe?
I oppose.